And 1 month later, here we are again. I know I do semi-monthly videos, but I've just been so busy, so I've been unable to do videos. But time to catch up on some stuff, and there's been an interesting conversation going around about one particular FurCon in Brazil. What is going on is that the event, what was it called? I had it just up here. Yeah, I will say it was a bowling event in Brazil, and what was going on was that a shoe company called Converse decided to go over and have them promote their shoes. So here is the article I got. This was back in March. A furry bowling event had gathered under the name Fur Boliche. In attendance was a guest of honor at Brazil Fur Fest the previous year. There was also another group in attendance to take photos of the fursuiters to show them wearing sneakers for an advertising campaign for Converse, which was a brand bought by Nike in 2003. These adverts have been recently been released on their Argentinian and Australian websites. Now, what some furs are pointing out that this is one that either they're selling out or that they're pairing up with a company that has some good reputation. It's pointed out to me in a source called the Good Shopping Guide. They list their the companies they rate by how well they are with the environment, animal welfare, with people, and Converse ended up ranking at the bottom along with Nike. They rated on a 100-point scale, and they only had 40 out of 100. What they had was their environmental report and nuclear stuff for the environment was good, but organic was not. How do you do organics with shoes? As a matter of fact, I looked through the whole list. There's only 3 shoe companies that got a good rating for organic stuff, which is I'm not a big believer in organic stuff. What was the next one? Animal welfare. Nike and Converse got a poor rating on that. The stuff on there is mostly mixed. For people, code of conduct, they got a good rating. Ethical trading schemes, they got a good rating. Human rights, got a poor rating. Armaments, good rating. Why would they have anything to do with armaments? Every single shoe company had a good rating on that, but I don't see what it has to do with armaments. Political donations, they had a poor rating. And then other criticisms, ethical accreditation, they had a poor and middle rating. But this is according to one guide if you're more into how do they contribute to society. But for this event, they actually got paid for this. The Converse advertisement noted that the article places this this advertisement, and this is what it reads. We are Fur Boliche, a bowling crew of furries. We started bowling in 2014 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. the internet brought us together, but the word quickly spread, and we were gathering people who wanted to join in from all over. Our crew has been growing every year. Right now we have something like 250 furries from all over Brazil coming together to hang out and do some fur bowling. So basically what it is going on, this is a co-creative marketing. So it's basically win-win for both of them. So they both get publicity. That's basically how it works. But I want to know what you think about this. Following up on that, Brazil Fur Fest announced that they have a sponsorship with Converse. This was as of last week. As far as FurCons doing sponsorships with other companies, this is something that in this kind of business, it's something you got to be careful with, because the furries are pretty sensitive to what companies you associate with. And after what I just shown with the shopping guide, like I said, they don't have the best reputation. I mean, for one thing, in order for you to run a con, you gotta have money. You gotta be able to pay the hotel. You gotta pay for all the equipment, everything to give the perks to everyone attending. This is something that every single convention has to go through. They have to get the money to do that. So I can understand what Brazil Fur Fest is doing. They got to get the money somehow. Like I said, this is kind of a balancing act that you really have to do. But we'll see how this goes going forward. Here's something that was pointed out to me. The Merriam-Webster dictionary, they're always looking to add more words to their dictionary. And right now they are looking at adding furry and fursona into the dictionary. So this is what they have. For furry, although the adjective furry dates to the late 1600s with the meaning consisting of fur, the derivative noun did not take root in the English language until about the 1940s, as the name of a fur-bearing animal. A few decades later, the noun underwent a peculiar development in meaning. First, it began being applied as the name for a non-furry human who was a fan of furry animal characters, such as those featured in comics, cartoons, and games, that are human-like in appearance and behavior. Furry was then used to designate a person who dresses up in a costume resembling such a character, as well as an online user identified by an image of an anthropomorphic animal. No, that's a fursuiter. These senses of furry are perhaps surprising to those unfamiliar with the community of furries that began... Of course, Merriam-Webster puts in these words that I don't use. It's Coalesce. In the United States during the 1980s and 1990s and into the 21st century. We're working on defining them. In the meantime, we like to enlighten the uninitiated, which they go into that. As far as fursona, here's what they say. What makes the furry community different from other fan-based ones, such as those of the comic or sci-fi genres, is that typically furries create personalized animal characters, which are referred to as a fursona. A furry's fursona is drawn from animals in nature or mythology that exhibit certain characteristics that they personally identify with and they project their personalized personas in appearance and behavior in social interactions within the furry community in a variety of ways, such as through costume design, interactive roleplay, artwork, and creative writing. So, of course, the word furry has been in the dictionary for centuries as an adjective, but now they're thinking about putting it in as a noun. So, we'll see if this gets added to the dictionary at the turn of the year. Same thing with persona. It's interesting to see that all these words that have been developed over the past few years are now getting added to the dictionaries. Stuff that I never thought would be added. Like, what were some examples from a couple of years ago? Because it's all this. Dare I say it? These millennial terms. Yeah, it's stuff that I never thought would have been added in a dictionary, but they add words all the time. But the only time that I ever use a dictionary is to either look up the spelling of it or just a definition of a word that I've never heard of before. But even then, I don't use a dictionary that much. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to go into that one. Oh, yes. Some time ago, I mentioned that there was supposed to be a 1-hour special of Rocko's Modern Life, which is a 90s cartoon that was done by Nickelodeon. It was from 1993 to 1996. I used to watch it all the time. But they had a 1-hour special made called Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling. It previously was not released, but now the did they say the rights to it have been sold to Netflix, and they're going to debut it on August 9th. And there is a clip of the show on their Twitter. So the synopsis for the special says, after being in space for around 20 years, Rocko and his friends attempt to conform to an even more modern life in O-Town, where coffee shops are on every corner, food trucks offer multi-layered tacos, touchscreen O-phones are being upgraded on a near constant basis, and instant print kiosk has replaced Rocko's old job at Kind of a Lotto Comics, and radioactive energy drinks turn their consumers into mutants. Yeah, they kind of had something going about consumerism. It's kind of a mix of a slice of life combined with surreal comedy. But if you ever find any of the old cartoons, I really recommend seeing them. They are really good. Let's see. There was some news over the past week. A longtime voice actor recently passed away, Miss Russi Taylor, who voiced Minnie Mouse from 1986 onwards. She has done a lot of voice acting, born in 1944, and passed away at age 75. Which I didn't know that she was still doing this. What was one of her first things doing? She did a film back in 1980 called The Private Eyes, which she played a doll. Around the same time, she voiced Strawberry Shortcake on TV. The Flintstone comedy show, which she played Pebbles. She was in the Smurfs from 1981 to 1989 as Smoogle. What other stuff has she done? Oh, she of course she did voice Minnie Mouse in Who Framed Roger Rabbit as a cameo appearance. Um, she's done DuckTales, playing the triplets. Rescuers Down Under, the Nurse Mouse. I remember that scene. Yeah, where the bird got injured and he was being worked on. Let's see. She was in Babe. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but I didn't know she was in that. She played Duchess the cat, which she kind of had a disdain for Babe. What was her last work? Yeah, just a few things. She did play young Donald Duck in the reboot of DuckTales. It was an episode called Last Christmas. And the very last thing that she did, she played the triplets, Huey, Dewey, Louie, in Kingdom Hearts 3, the video game. So that's like her one of her last things that she ever did. But it's a big loss for Disney, and I do wonder who they're going to have replace her, because of course, they got to keep the characters going. Let's see. I'm just gonna go ahead and go straight to upcoming events. One of them I will be going to, but we got a lot for August. In fact, there's a few going on right now. Campfire Trails in Oregon. We'll be going to the 5th. Same thing for Furthest North in Alberta, Canada. Conference, Ontario, Canada to the 4th, which is tomorrow. Denver going on in Colorado. Wisconsin Wilderness Camp Out will be going till tomorrow. Convertiva from the 3rd to the 4th in all these names. Zotepec in Mexico. FooterCon from the 7th to the 11th in Poland. 9th through 11th, we got 4 different events. Camp Tiny Paws in Danbury, Connecticut. Megaplex in Orlando, Florida, which I will be at, which I will get into a little bit of detail in just a minute. Southern Paws, held in Canterbury, New Zealand. Wild Prairie FurCon in Winnipeg, Canada. 14th to 18th, Eurofrance in Germany. 16th to 18th, Furrydelphia in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's actually in King of Prussia, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. Anthro East Coast from the 17th to 18th in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Indy FurCon, August 23rd to 25th. Well, speak of the devil, Brazil Fur Fest, 23rd to 25th in Santos, Brazil. Spock Anthro in Spokane, Washington. 28th to September 1st, Rusference in Moscow, Russia. Same time, MetFit Fur Meet in Olive Branch, Mississippi. And finally, Tails and Tornadoes in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think that's a new one. I've never heard of that. Founded September 2018. So this will be its very first one. So we got a lot of events going on here. But like I said, I will be at Megaplex this coming week, as I am one of the DJs. And I will be performing Thursday night at 10 p.m. Let's see. Fuzzy Logic is going to be making an appearance over there. And if you haven't been to them, Highly recommend it. It's really fun to do. Let's see. Oh, Alkali is going to be there. Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to go through everything here. I'm just going to go through real quick because it's getting late over here. So, and I still have some work to do. I know they changed hotels, and this is one of the resorts. Yeah, and no, it's not Disney. Sorry, it's Caribe Royale, located at World Center Drive in Orlando, Florida. So it's close to Disney. Not quite there, but I know where World Center Drive is. So this should be fun. Okay, so that's going to be it for me. 21 minutes in, I've talked enough. The Dragon's Mouth is now closing.